Hi, my name is Shannon McDonald, and this is my presentation on the Great Pluto Debate. So we'll start with a brief outline of what I'll be talking about today in my presentation. First is a brief history of Pluto. Second, we'll review the International Astronomical Union's definition of a planet. Third, we'll review some evidence that supports Pluto is a planet. Fourth, we'll review some evidence that supports that Pluto is not a planet. And then we'll end with a small conclusion. So Pluto's history. It was discovered in 1930 by Clyde Tombaugh. He was an American astronomer. He made his discovery at the Lowell Observatory in Arizona. He did not have a college education, but he did receive one after his discovery. Pluto's name was given by Venetia Burney. She was an 11-year-old from England, and she got her inspiration from Greek mythology, and her grandfather wrote in, and that's how Pluto got its name. So the International Astronomical Union's definition of a planet has 3 criteria. First, it must circle the sun as its main star and no other objects. It must be big enough to round itself into a sphere or spheroid by its own gravitational pulls, and must have cleared its neighborhood of other orbiting bodies, which takes a vast amount of gravitational pull. So some evidence that supports that Pluto is a planet. Its shape, this aligns itself with the IAU's classifications. Pluto is very similar to other planets in the solar system since it is spherical, unlike asteroids and comets, which can be irregularly shaped. Its atmosphere. Pluto has an atmosphere which makes it very comparable to other planets in the solar system, even though its atmosphere varies over the time of its revolutions. Pluto's moons. You need to have a great amount of gravitational pull to have moons, and Pluto has 5, which makes it very comparable to other planets in the solar system. And of course, Pluto revolves around the sun, which makes it very similar to other planets in the solar system. So Pluto's shape. Pluto is a spherical shape. This is important in planet classification because astronomical objects must have a great gravitational pull in order to form themselves into a sphere. So over the course of time, many things will collide, but it takes a great amount of power to be able to pull all of those different objects that collide into a spherical shape. And of course, all of the other planets in our solar system are spherical, which makes Pluto a perfect fit. So Pluto's atmosphere. The fact that Pluto has an atmosphere makes it more similar to a planet than it does a comet or an asteroid. Some scientists like to believe that Pluto is more like a comet because of its icy surface, but it's not a comet. Pluto's atmosphere is 90% nitrogen and 10% other complex molecules such as methane and carbon monoxide. Pluto's atmosphere may only exist when it approaches the sun because when it is farther away, these gases are frozen, and it becomes closer to the sun because its orbit is highly elliptical in shape and it's also tilted. Pluto's moons. Pluto has enough gravitational pull to have 5 of its own moons in orbit. Pluto's known moons are Charon, Styx, Nix, Hydra, and Kerberos. Charon was suspected to be part of Pluto and is now the result of a massive collision. This theory would explain a little why Pluto rotates nearly sideways. As you can see in the moving diagram, its moons are of different shapes, of different orbiting speeds, but in conclusion, it does have enough gravitational pull to have moons. Pluto orbits the sun as the central star, which is one of the main requirements of the IAU. Pluto adheres to this clause, which makes it very similar to other established planets in the solar system. Although it does have a slightly different orbit, its orbit still revolves around the sun. So here's some evidence supporting that Pluto is not a planet. So Pluto's orbit is very elliptical. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the solar system's orbits. So Pluto's orbit is tilted at 17 degrees and even crosses paths with Neptune's orbit. Pluto is not able to clear its neighbors at all. So this clause means that there should be no other objects within the realm of this said planet. But since Pluto is in the Kuiper belt, it doesn't have the gravitational pull to clear these objects, which is one of the main arguments against it being a planet. There are too many similar objects. So Pluto is surrounded by many objects very similar to itself. An astronomer, Mike Brown, said that there are upwards of 600 possible dwarf planets. So if we were to make Pluto a planet, what's to say that we don't have to make all of them planets? Some, such as Eris, are even larger than Pluto in size. So Pluto's orbit, as I mentioned previously, is very different from the rest of the established planets in the solar system. So it's tilted at 17 degrees and it's very elliptical, which is very uncharacteristic compared to the other planets. This means that at certain times of its revolution, it's a lot closer to the sun than other times. It just really kind of makes it stand out and makes it very different and doesn't let it fit in with the rest of the solar system. Pluto is not able to clear its neighbors at all. It does not have a massive enough gravitational pull to clear objects out of its path, especially when it is in the Kuiper belt. This means that there are other objects surrounding it with competing gravitational pulls. The ability to clear neighbors is one of the most important criteria for planet classification per the International Astronomical Union. This is one of the main arguments for rejecting Pluto's planethood. Too many similar objects. To put it simply, Pluto is not unique. In fact, there are other dwarf planets that are even larger than Pluto and arguably deserve planethood more than Pluto. If we were to declare Pluto a planet, wouldn't we have to make all these dwarf planets official planets? It kind of starts a never-ending series of questions, and it's something that could definitely be changed in the future, but as of right now, it's just too much. So a small conclusion, Pluto's planethood is still a highly debated subject among astronomers. Some believe that it does belong in the solar system, some believe that it doesn't. Most are happy with it being a planet, but a lot of scientists are looking to the future. When space travel becomes more regular and travel to maybe other planets. I know some scientists have talked about a Star Trek test. All of these things in the future could lead to new classifications for a planet, which may include Pluto. But however, since 2006, Pluto has been classified and downgraded to a dwarf planet. This is how Pluto will stand for now, and in the future it might change, but this is the best situation for our current scientific progress. Thank you. That's all.